oh, this guy? Yeah, he still knows how to play basketball for all those people that forgot. And we all know about the impact of Stephen Curry. But I have one question for you guys. When are we going to make it official? When are we going to announce the third Splash Brother, the baby Splash Brother, the Splash Nephew, the Splash Cousin, whatever you want to say? Jordan Poole is special, and the combination of Jordan Poole, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson just shattered the Milwaukee Bucks and Denver Nuggets over the last 2 games, and they did all of this without this man who is about to return, or at the time of watching this, has returned. But before we talk about the third Splash Brother, or even the second Splash Brother, this is Stephen Curry's stat line from the game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Funny, right? Ha ha ha, look at Steph. He's washed. This is why he'll never be as good as LeBron. Well, not exactly, because I showed you the stat line, but let me show you the Milwaukee Bucks defense against Steph in the third quarter. Why the third quarter in particular, when they defended him like this all game? Because he shared the floor with Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole for most of the third quarter and was still being defended like this, despite those two having a combined 50 points halfway through the quarter, and oh yeah, Stephen Curry having single digits. Here you see Wiggins with the ball matched up against Giannis. Wesley Matthews chases Curry around a Looney screen. Curry then gets the handoff from Wiggins and is immediately trapped by both Giannis and Matthews. This is the Bucks leaving a 40% three-point shooter wide open, by the way, to trap a guy who had scored 5 points at the time, and as Curry does, he makes the right pass to an open Wiggins for 3. And then on this other example, Jordan Poole goes to set his screen before quickly flaring out. Steph is immediately met with a second defender in Javon Carter, which allows him to get the pass off to an open Poole. Poole ends up missing the shot, but I thought this was the perfect example of the gravity and impact of Stephen Curry, because you had someone in Jordan Poole that was cooking the Milwaukee Bucks, and they still helped off him to trap someone that had taken about 4 shots. It's ridiculous. Oh, and just one more thing. Before we talk about the other stuff that happened in the last few games, just take a good look at Stephen Curry on these consecutive possessions in the third quarter. I want you to focus on Steph Curry. I know he's not moving, but that's exactly what I want you to focus on. Because Jrue Holiday, their best perimeter defender, is sitting on Curry in the corner while Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson continue to cook the Bucks in a 4-on-4 situation. And don't get it twisted, Steph knew exactly what he was doing, because when you have Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole up against the second and third best perimeter defenders, well, I'll talk about that a little bit later, don't worry. But before I talk about that, can we give some love to Kevon Looney? Don't click off the video just yet. I know people don't want to hear about Kevon Looney, but just quickly, can we give some love to Kevon Looney? No Draymond Green going up against Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo in back-to-back games, and he did a fantastic job. Just for context, these were the numbers of these two guys over the last 2 games before they faced Looney versus the numbers when they went up against Looney. Obviously, these guys are still going to put up numbers, but Looney made it incredibly difficult on Jokic. He had a couple of stops on Giannis, which were also very impressive. This is a guy at 6'9" going up against monsters and holding his own without Draymond Green, with James Wiseman still working his way back. I know people didn't click on this video to hear about Kevon Looney, and I hope you didn't click off, but let's just give him his flowers, okay? That's all I need to say. And we could transition into talking about Klay Thompson, but I don't know if there's much I need to say about Klay Thompson. It's Klay Thompson, and that was just a Klay Thompson performance. But a guy that I can talk about a lot, and a guy that is really emerging, is Jordan Poole. It was no secret that the Warriors have had their struggles recently, and in particular offensively, but over the last half a dozen games, their offense has really improved, and there's a few reasons for that. They've started to move the ball well again. Steph has been playing well and has been scoring well in all the other games aside from the Bucks game that he's still greatly impacted, as I mentioned. But Jordan Poole hasn't just been good, he's been flat out great. Over the last 7 games, these are his numbers. Now, these numbers are particularly noticeable when prior to this stretch, Poole had been struggling trying to find his role. You have Klay Thompson, you have Steph Curry, you have Andrew Wiggins. Where are the shots for Jordan Poole going to come? He was struggling to find his role off the bench. Well, recently, whether he's in the starting lineup or whether he's on the bench, it just doesn't matter because Jordan Poole is incredibly difficult to guard. I think one thing that at least me, sometimes I forget, is how explosive and athletic Poole is. Put him one-on-one in front of any of these perimeter defenders that aren't the likes of Jrue Holiday, and as you saw against the Bucks, he's going to cook them. As you saw against the Nuggets and plenty of other teams, Jordan Poole has a mean crossover. He can get to the rim. He can finish with either hand. He glides. He is quick. He is shifty. You pair that with the spacing of Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry and Andrew Wiggins, and the defense doesn't have a chance to set back. He is going one-on-one against guys on the perimeter and consistently blowing past them and making the second and third best perimeter defenders look like Swiss cheese. Not to mention, his three-point shooting has started to find its form again, and we are seeing the off-ball movement of Poole, Klay, and Curry in the same lineup. It is making teams' heads explode. Literally. Just watch this play right here where Klay Thompson draws two defenders, allowing Poole to drop it off backdoor to Wiggins for an open dunk. The Warriors now have three guys that are elite off-the-ball movers, that can put the ball on the floor, that can shoot threes at will. It's ridiculous. Those three guys, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, and Stephen Curry, are a very potent offensive trio, and we saw all of that against the Milwaukee Bucks. Not to mention a quick shout out to Andrew Wiggins, who has struggled but also played well against the Bucks. And another thing that I have talked about before, but I just need to mention again, is Jordan Poole's playmaking. It's easy to get caught up when it seems like he's dropping 30 points every other night, but he's also someone who's capable of giving you point guard play when Stephen Curry is getting double teamed like he was against the Milwaukee Bucks, or when Steph is off the floor and Poole is sharing the floor with Klay Thompson and those guys are building a chemistry, or what he could do with James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors have depth. Just picture this for a second. The Warriors have a chance to run a lineup with Steph, Poole, Klay, Draymond, and Looney, which can match up against the likes of Denver with Jokic, or they can switch out Looney for Wiggins and go small, switch out Wiggins for Poole. The possibilities are endless. They have shooting, they have playmaking, they have movement, they have intelligence, they have defense. That is what the Warriors have right now, and with what Jordan Poole is giving them alongside Klay Thompson looking like Klay Thompson, this is a team that you don't want to face, and I'm going to continue to say that, and they're going to continue to show that. Oh, and there are some other players that we could talk about like Jonathan Kuminga, but I think I might save that for another video. If you want to see that, drop a like on the video, that would be much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I mean, you've made it all the way to the end of the video, so you may as well have a good day, bye.